Jayatmeshwar, Samarpan Yog of the Himalayas, Part 1, Episode 5. One morning, Gurudev was seated on the floor and he made me sit there too. He asked me to imagine that I was sitting on my mother's lap and asked me to sit on the floor with the same carefree feeling of belonging. He asked me to surrender completely to Mother Earth and pray that I have surrendered completely to you. Please make my chitta pure and strong. Then I realized that all the bad energy within me started pulsating and my chitta became pure and strong. There is a gravitational force within the earth, and our chitta is purified when we establish oneness with the gravitational force through our prayers. Mother Earth is very helpful in purifying one's chitta, and the body also becomes healthy. When one's chitta becomes strong, the body becomes healthy. The gravitational force of the earth does the work of balancing one's chitta and one's body. Let us then get ready for that balance. One can use the powers of nature if one so desires. You cannot force someone to align with nature. After practicing for some days, I realized that my chitta concentrated faster after sitting on the floor and meditating for a short time. Later, I felt very calm and peaceful, and the body also felt light. One morning, Gurudev started telling me about his travels in the Himalayas. He said, "There are small settlements and villages near the Himalayan range of mountains. Villagers there use the earth element to cure their problems. When foreign elements enter our body, it becomes sick. That is why we should have clear bowels and our mind should be clean, so that we don't get bad or negative thoughts or sicknesses resulting from negative thoughts. That is why the tribal people take the help of the earth element. Our body comprises the 5 basic elements: earth, sky, water, fire, and air. We become pure and holy because of the earth element. The earth element purifies our body and mind and bestows us with physical and mental stability. First of all, one will have to accept the earth element as a great power and surrender completely to it and establish oneness with it. There is no better path than prayer to establish that oneness. That is why the tribal people sit on the ground and first of all bow down to the earth. They bend down and bow their heads before it, and then they pray with full faith to the earth. We are surrendering ourselves completely to you. Please cure us of our sicknesses through your power of gravitation. And then they are miraculously cured of their sicknesses. In reality, they get balanced by being close to the earth. Earth bestows balance and stability to them. But for that, one must acknowledge that earth is an element. one must be able to bow before the earth with full faith. Only then will all this be possible. The tribal people also cure their sicknesses by applying mud paste all over their bodies under a special tree. They are also able to cure themselves by bathing with mud. In several settlements, the sick person is buried up to his neck in mud. He is made to stand in a deep vertical pit, and the space around him is filled with mud. He stands buried like this all day, and for some sicknesses, even at night. Sometimes for 3 days, and sometimes even for a whole week, he is kept covered with mud in that pit. All this takes place in the presence and under the guidance of an expert and experienced elderly person. The elderly person studies the face of the sick person, observes the rhythm of his breathing, feels his pulse, and then makes his decision. He can diagnose some diseases just by looking at the eyes of the sick person. There are no doctors or Ayurvedic practitioners in those colonies. It is a very backward area. They have neither medicines nor any instruments, and they depend on nature and the vibrations of nature. A mud pack is often applied to the forehead to bring down fever. But in this type of natural treatment, the patient must have faith, and positive results can be achieved because of the patient's faith. The tribal people have no other option but to use this cure. Therefore, this cure has to be practiced with faith, and physical ailments can be cured through the earth element. If we take the palm of our right hand, place it flat on the ground, close our eyes, and fully concentrate on it, we can also learn about the activities within the earth. We can understand what is happening within the earth. We become aware of the sounds within the earth and its inner vibrations. And saying this, Gurudev placed his right palm fully on the ground, closed his eyes, focused his chitta totally on it, and asked me to do the same. I could actually feel mild vibrations in the beginning, and later I became aware of the movement within the earth, and I could make out which layer beneath the ground was shifting and in which direction. I felt very calm and peaceful. In this way, I was given this experience. When we experience something similar in life, our chitta becomes one with nature. This results in our chitta gaining immense focus, and we move away from the identity of one's I sense. In our endeavor to connect with the earth element, we connect with our roots at some level, because the earth, the dust, is an inseparable part of our lives. The earth element plays a very important role in our creation and our nurturing. The dust doesn't have any reservations when we try to establish a separate identity from it, and it accepts our physical body after our life ends. That is why man has been called an image made of dust. This image of dust, which is the body, is created out of dust and is finally consigned to dust. This dust is the final truth. Earth bestows the soul with this vehicle in the form of a body made out of dust to help it to achieve liberation. If liberation is a destination, then this image of dust is a vehicle that will take it to its destination. Earth bestows the soul with an instrument in the form of the image of dust, which will help it to reach its destination of liberation at its own time in life. Several saints often incarnate on earth and purify some special place, and then the power of vibration increases there. The influence of that place increases due to the presence of the saints. No land is good or bad for saints. They do not look at the good or bad condition of the ground. They are connected to the energy of the entire land, and because of this, the saint may reside on any land or sit on any ground. Then, whichever place gets the presence of his body becomes especially holy. This is because the vibrations which the land received through his presence will always remain there. A saint's body is perishable, but the energy of that body is long-lasting. Even after the saint's life comes to an end, it keeps bestowing experiences for hundreds of years. Not only that, but as time passes, the level of vibrating energy increases because there is more consciousness at that place than in nature. As a result, consciousness from the surrounding atmosphere also starts collecting there in a natural form. A collectivity of good consciousness is established at a good place. It grows with time because the energy of the saint's power of resolution is present there. Nature's energies become focused there, and then, due to that additional conscious energy, whenever any creature visits that place, it is affected by the consciousness of that place. No land is either good or bad, but the people staying on it, their thoughts and their deeds create a good or bad effect. The influence of a person who is connected to nature and has merged with it is always good. When one creates a separate identity, which is apart from nature, it creates a bad influence. Man becomes insignificant when a separate identity is created. When man thus becomes small, several problems crop up in his life, and his influence starts decreasing. A person whose identity is separate from nature becomes weak, and the energy in his house becomes weak or strong according to his thoughts. Plants and places also breathe in the same way that man breathes. If a place continually receives energy from every direction, then that place gets balanced. Gurudev tried to explain this to me through an experiment. He took 2 seeds of the same tree, sowed one seed at one place and another seed at another special place. Gurudev gave energy to the seed at the special place from all directions. First, he would sit to the east of the seed, absorb energy, and pass it on to the seed. Then, he would sit in a southerly direction and give energy to the seed. Then, he would sit facing the west, and after absorbing the energy, he would pass it to the seed. Finally, he would sit in the north and give energy he had absorbed to the seed. After 8 days, it was observed that the seed which had been energizing regularly had sprouted leaves, whereas the other ordinary seed had not sprouted at all. When Gurudev absorbed energy from all directions and passed on balanced energy to the seed, it progressed very fast. If the order of giving energy from the direction of the east, south, west, and north is followed, it will be more effective. Similarly, man should keep all 4 directions around his house open so that his residents can get energy from all directions. Vastu Shastra, the science of building a house, has been created on the basis of this very premise. Birds and animals also have knowledge of energy which they receive from all directions. It is absolutely essential for a place to receive energy from all 4 directions. Man thinks all the time and creates bad energy around him, and this is the reason why he isn't able to avail himself of the external energy around him. What generally happens is that when we concentrate our chitta on a particular thing for some time, we start getting thoughts about it, and the same thing happens with a place too. If a person unknowingly stores something in his chitta, he sees the same thing even in his dreams. But what he sees in his dreams is a mixture of a number of things. That is why a dream comprises a combination of different periods of one's life. Man can purify his chitta in the collectivity of people who have a good connection with consciousness. The Sadguru is a medium for obtaining a good collectivity. If we wish to make our chitta more powerful, we should focus it on everlasting objects, because material things are always perishable. So, if we put our chitta on them, the chitta will also be destroyed. Thus, it is imperative that we focus our chitta only on eternal, everlasting things. We can also call chitta one of our senses. Just as we can see with our eyes and hear with our ears, we can similarly get experiences with our chitta. We can acquire knowledge through our chitta. All this is possible slowly with practice. As our chitta becomes purer, it becomes more difficult to have control over it. Therefore, we should purify our chitta only to the extent that we can control it. Otherwise, a chitta that is pure but uncontrolled can prove fatal for us. On an important morning one day, Gurudev woke me and left the cave, taking me along with him. He started walking in a northerly direction, and after walking for quite a long way, we came to two big rocks and walked between them on a road which led to a cave. We kept walking on the wide road. I had a problem whilst walking as we were continually descending. I thought to myself, originally we came from the land above us and have been staying in quite a deep gully. And now he's taking me even further down. I don't know why, but I did not have the courage to ask him about it. After descending for quite some time, he stopped and said, "Rest for a while. I am now taking you into a different world. This world will be beyond your imagination." Jai Atmeshwar. We'll conclude today's book reading for today's episode here. Thank you for listening.